How can God exist if there's evil in the world? For many, the problem of evil is the strongest argument against the existence of God. After all, it seems an all-good being would want to destroy all evil, and an all-knowing and an all-powerful being would have the ability to do so. So if God is an all-good, all-knowing, and all-powerful being, and he must be an all-good, all-knowing, and all-powerful being in order to be God, then there shouldn't be any evil in the world. So since there is evil in the world, it seems that it must be impossible for God to exist. Like I said, this is known as the problem of evil, and it's been the most prominent argument for atheism historically. What makes this argument unique is that it claims to show a logical contradiction in the very idea of God. If the logical problem of evil is sound, it's just as impossible for there to be an all-good, all-powerful God in a world with evil as there is to be a four-sided triangle or a married bachelor. It would be a contradiction of terms to talk about God. Now, before I get into what St. Thomas Aquinas has to say in response to this dilemma, I want to make sure we get down exactly what the paradox at the heart of the problem of evil is. Remember, in order for God to be God, he has to be all-good, all-knowing, and all-powerful. If we say that God isn't either all-good, all-knowing, or all-powerful, from the perspective of traditional theism, we're not talking about God anymore. We're talking about something else. But an all-good being, the argument says, would set as its goal the maximization of goodness. It would want the world to be as good as it possibly could be. That means, so the claim goes, that this being wouldn't want there to be any evil in the world, since the existence of evil takes away from good. So this being would do everything in its power to get rid of all the evil it knows about. But if God is all-powerful, he has the power sufficient to stop any evil he knows about. And if he's all-knowing, then he knows about all evil. That means that God would have the ability and desire to get rid of all evil if he existed. And since he hasn't done that, he must not exist. Now, there's a few ways that theists could respond to this argument. One is to deny that God is all-good, all-powerful, or all-knowing. But like I said, if you do that, you're not defending God anymore. You're defending something else. So that doesn't work. Another thing you could do is to deny that evil exists. If evil is an illusion, then there's no paradox between God and the existence of evil. But this seems really contrary to our experiences, where some things strike us as not the way they're supposed to be. A man goes blind. A house burns down. I stub my toe setting up for this video. These things just seem not proper to the order of the world. Men are supposed to be able to see. Houses are supposed to stand firm. My toe is not supposed to be throbbing in pain. But these kinds of falling short of the natural order of things is exactly what the objector, the man proposing the problem of evil, means when he talks about evil. So you really can't deny that evil exists. So this would leave only a third option for answering the problem of evil: Aquinas' option. Near the beginning of his Summa Theologica, Aquinas summarizes the version of the problem of evil I laid out in this video. He then responds to it in two very brief sentences. Here they are. Since God is the highest good, he would not allow any evil to exist in his works, unless his omnipotence and goodness were such as to bring good even out of evil. This is part of the infinite goodness of God, that he should allow evil to exist, and out of it produce good. Here we have the core of Aquinas' answer to the question of evil. Aquinas is denying that an all-good God is obligated to get rid of all the evil in the world. After all, an all-good God, like we said, wants the most possible good to exist. But perhaps, and this is the key here, perhaps having the most amount of good possible requires there to be some evil. Perhaps evils like blindness, house fires, and stubbed toes allow good things to exist that wouldn't be possible if there hadn't been evil in the world. Maybe the blind man's blindness leads him or one of his friends to live a more morally upright life. Maybe the house getting burned down allows a more stable, less flammable house to be built in its place. Maybe me stubbing my toe setting up for this video will teach me a life lesson about setting up a camera that'll save me some disaster later in life. From our perspective, we might not be able to see all these benefits from the existence of evil, but God isn't looking with our perspective. He's infinite, so he sees the effect of everything in full in a way we don't. He sees whether more good will come out of allowing evil to exist or not, and chooses accordingly. But if God isn't obligated to eliminate evil, then God and evil aren't incompatible. It's not the case that an all-good, all-powerful, all-knowing God wouldn't allow evil to exist. So the problem of evil loses all force as a logical objection to the existence of God. Now, while this might be sufficient to answer this logical problem of evil we've been talking about, I want to leave you with one more thought from Aquinas about evil before you go. After all, even if the evil in the world is ultimately to bring about a greater good, it kind of stinks to deal with here and now. Evil's tough. Evil is really tough. But here's the thing. For Aquinas, evil is real. Aquinas doesn't deny the reality of toe stubbing or house burnings or blindness or anything else like that. But that being said, Aquinas argues that evil isn't real in the same way good is. Classically speaking, evil has been understood as a privation of the good. Think about a chipped plate. The chip in the plate is certainly there. It's real. But it's not real in exactly the same way the plate itself is. See, the chip couldn't exist unless there was a plate to be chipped. And the chip is fundamentally just an absence of some part of the plate that should be there. Evil, Aquinas argues, is just like the chip in the plate. It can't exist unless there's some good for it to parasite off of, and it's fundamentally just an absence of some good that should be there. I'll be returning to this theme of evil as a privation of good in future videos, but I hope that for now this gives you hope that evil isn't all-encompassing. After all, if the world has evil in it, and evil's a parasite on the good, then there must be some good in the world for evil to parasite off of. The existence of good, after all, is more primary and fundamental than the existence of evil. And that's an encouraging thought. And thank you for watching this video. If you want to see this channel grow, and I certainly do, please consider subscribing and liking the video and all that stuff. That would be really awesome and I'd really appreciate it. And God bless. Thank you.